At the end of the day, you have no one to rely on but yourself for the way that you act, for the way that you think, for the way that you feel. And you're going to need to get to the point of asking yourself, are you going to continue to allow yourself to feel this way, or are you going to consciously choose to make the change? It is nobody's obligation to save you. Yes, someone could try to save you, someone could try to help you, but at the end of the day, it's your job to make that choice to change. It's up to you to get out of this situation you're in. And if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. And every day will go by exactly the same as yesterday until you choose to say, no, I don't want to live this way anymore, and I choose to change it. From here on out, I choose to do things differently, to at least work to change it. Address whatever situation you're in and figure out what you can do and what you can't do. What you can control, what you can't control. Then scribble out what you can't control and throw it in the trash, because all that's going to do is slow you down and prevent you from getting to where you want to get to. Matter of fact, pick it back up out of the trash, open it, and analyze how much of a big waste of time it is, and then burn it. No more wasting time looking at what could have been, what should have been, the past, the future, what you could have done. Burn it. You should only be thinking about what you can do right now, in the present moment. That's all that matters. Look at what you can do now and do that, and only that. You shouldn't be trying to do something now and then thinking about something in the past. The past can't change, no matter what. Too often we waste so much time worrying about things that don't even matter at the end of the day. At the end of the day, what matters is what we do right now. We cannot control what's in the past. We cannot control what's in the future. We never know what's in the future, and we can't change the past. And so worrying about both of those things are a waste of time and taken away from the present moment, which is the only thing that you're truly in control of. And when you start to get these negative, pointless thoughts, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take out your phone, you're going to play this video, and then you're going to stick it to your forehead so it could get straight into your brain. Okay? You gotta be so tired of this negative loop that you're in, because if you're not tired of it, you're comfortable in it. And if you're comfortable in it, you're not gonna want to change. You need to want to make the change yourself. Nobody is going to make you want to make the change, no matter what. No matter what, if somebody is trying to help you get out of this negative loop, no matter what, if someone tries to give you all the best advice, at the end of the day, it is your choice, and nobody can save you but you. Nobody can get you out of the situation that you're in but you. And see, the tricky thing is, our brains, subconsciously, when you're in a negative loop, that just means that it's keeping you in a comfortable place. If you're constantly thinking of negative thoughts, that's the first thing you go to, and then you wonder why all these, you feel like your life is just so negative, or you're just going through so many negative things, it's because you're stuck in this negative comfort zone, in a way. If this negative loop has been the thing that you're entertaining, the more that your brain becomes familiar with it, and the more comfortable it becomes for your brain to return back to those negative thoughts, and the more that your brain will try to keep you there, keep you in that negative loop. And I'll explain why. So basically, almost every single thought and experience you have creates these neural pathways in your brain, and it activates every single time you return back to that thought or experience in your brain. And the more times that you continue to go back to those thoughts, the more stronger that those pathways become, and the more efficient it is for it to return back to those thoughts. And so when you're stuck in a negative loop, and you've just been exercising, thinking about the same thing, thinking about the same negative pattern, thinking about the same negative loop, negative thoughts, it's strengthening that pathway to the point where it becomes so easy for your brain to just shoot to that point, shoot to that thought, shoot to that negative thought, because it's used to doing that. So what this means is that it becomes easier for us to continue to think the way that we've been thinking, or to continue acting the way that we've been acting. Just like when you're driving and you don't need as much conscious thought as you did when you were first learning, it's because you've now built this thing called muscle memory. And that's just your brain strengthening those pathways in your brain, because you just keep on returning back to those thoughts, making it easier for you to continue to go back to those thoughts. So whenever it comes down to your negative patterns or your negative thinking, you might consciously think it like, oh, this is uncomfortable. But for your brain, you've done it so many times that it's a no-brainer. It's comfortable for your brain to return back to those thoughts. You need to stop entertaining the useless thoughts that you're dwelling in and start exercising the ones that matter, which is what you can do in the now and what is important in the now. So every time you start to feel low, every time you start to feel a negative thought coming back up, a negative feeling, boom, redirect it to the way that you want to think. And as you keep on doing that, it'll build the muscle memory for that thought. So eventually, even though right now it might feel like this don't feel right, like I don't feel comfortable, like it feels weird for me to think this way, like to think positive when all I can think about is the negative of blah blah blah. The more that you think about the positive and the more that you think about what matters, which is the now, and you just think about what you can do in the now, and you just focus on that, the more that your brain will become used to doing that, and the more it'll become easier to think and act that way. I feel like some people tend to just sit and dwell in this negative loop until something miraculous happens or someone comes to save them. But what you need to remember is that nobody is responsible for you except for you. You need to take full accountability for what happens to you. Not necessarily what happens to you as in like things that you can't control, obviously, but when it comes to things that you can control, you need to be responsible for that because it is your choice to make the change. Even if it seems like someone can save you, at the end of the day, it is you who is choosing to make the change. It is you who is choosing to believe the things that they're saying to you, first off, and choosing to make the difference. So at the end of the day, nobody's really saving you but you. You might think this person saved me. No, they only just helped you realize what you need to do, and you made the choice. You made the choice to change. You made the choice to think better thoughts. You made the choice to do better things. And if you're waiting around for someone to save you, what happens if they don't choose to save you? What happens if they don't try to help pick you back up? Then you get a rude awakening of, oh, I guess I do have to be the one to take care of myself, and I can't rely on anyone else because I'm no one's responsibility. And this doesn't mean that you can't lean on others for support during hard times, but rather that there's not always going to be people around to help you. Sometimes you're not going to have somebody, and you're going to need to be able to pick yourself back up by yourself. And that also means that you're not thinking, oh, I can't feel better until this person does this for me, or this person makes me feel better. No one can make you feel better but you. You only feel better when you choose to feel better and when you change your way of thinking. You can choose to create new neural pathways for yourself that affirm a different life story. And the more that you affirm this different life story, the more that you return to this new way of thinking, the stronger that those pathways will become, the easier it will to return back to that way of thinking. Every time that you start to feel like you're getting reeled back into these negative thoughts, this negative loop, think to yourself, tell yourself, this is pointless. This thought is pointless. And then what you're going to do is you're going to redirect that thought to a positive one. For example, something you might be telling yourself is, oh, I can't believe I did this today. That's so embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. First off, thinking this thought is pointless. Then I'm going to change that thought to, I tried my best. And in a year, it won't even matter. And so, yeah, then just continue going on about your day. Continue doing something that matters in the present moment. Because that thought was actually in the past too, as well. And so that means that you weren't focused on what's in the present moment, which is whatever it is that you're doing in that present moment. And that brings me to my next point of, you need to keep on moving. And I mean, every time that you feel like you're starting to feel stagnant or you get stuck in this negative loop and it just feels like you're not going anywhere, you just need to tell yourself, keep moving. And just do whatever you need to do to get out of that stagnant feeling. And this doesn't mean that you need to get everything done with all this energy all at once. That could literally just mean you have a bunch of tiny steps and you just keep on moving. Even if it's a hard time, so long as you keep on moving, no matter how small it is, you will eventually get out of that whatever situation you're in and get to where you want to be. Just because a step feels small doesn't mean that it's not essential. Movement is still movement. So every time that you start to feel stagnant, you need to tell yourself to keep going. Like, for example, sometimes for me, like, I would start thinking about, oh, like, I need to get this done, I need to get that done, da 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 da. And then I stop and realize I'm literally stagnant. Like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm stuck in this moment thinking about all the things that I could be doing, da 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 da. So what I tell myself is, keep moving. Don't stop. Keep going. And so when you catch yourself in situations like those and you tell yourself to keep moving, it's like, okay, boom, what do I gotta do next? And then do that. And another thing is, the longer that you stay somewhere in your mind, the harder it will be to get out of that place in your mind. Because that ties back to what you're choosing to entertain. And if you're choosing to entertain those negative thoughts, the harder it will be, if you don't act fast, to get out of it. It's just like when, for example, people tend to say that old people are stuck in their ways, and that's because they have been in that way of thinking for so long that their brain has strengthened those neural pathways that I talked about earlier to the point where it's just a automatic thought for them. They don't even go somewhere else because those thoughts are just so strong already. And so when it comes back to entertaining those useless thoughts, you need to know that you're wasting your time and to keep going. Another thing is, you need to stop feeling bad for yourself and stop blaming yourself for feeling bad. Because in a way, this is kind of like another negative loop trap that you can get stuck in. Feeling bad for yourself because of everything that's been happening. In a way, it just kind of affirms the things that have been happening to you, making it more evident in your life. And I know that this can be hard, especially when you're going through a lot, but you need to give yourself time to feel the emotion and let yourself know that it is okay for you to feel the way that you're feeling. Because if you resist the way that you're feeling, it is only going to make it worse. Because then it's like the emotion is there, but then you're not allowing yourself to feel it. So it's like these two really strong forces, and it's just so much unnecessary conflict between you and yourself. And so you need to be able to let yourself feel. But after you allow yourself to feel the way that you feel and you allow yourself to calm down, you need to analyze the situation you're in, just like I said earlier, and not entertain thoughts like, why is this happening to me? My life is so terrible. Poor me. All of it is just one big waste of time. All those thoughts are just one big waste of time and big lies that you just tell yourself. Because in a way, those thoughts are easier to come back to than the positive ones. Because we've been so conditioned and programmed to think these negative thoughts to ourselves. And sometimes you just gotta be 100% real with yourself and sit down and ask yourself, am I being stagnant, feeling sorry for myself, in a way giving myself an excuse to stay in this negative loop, to stay in this negative way of thinking? You need to ask yourself and be real with yourself. Even if it hurts, you gotta keep moving. Because as long as you keep on moving, you are going to get to where you want to be. You need to be your own cheerleader, cheering you on, telling yourself to keep pushing through. Because all you really have is you. And you can't give up on you. Obviously, take the time that you need to, but it comes to a point where you're just gonna need to pick yourself back up. Sometimes it just gets like that sometimes. Just trust and know that you are taken care of, okay? And things are going to get better. And trust in your own wings. And trust in your own sauce. You gotta be able to put that trust in yourself and pick yourself back up, because you, my friend, are stronger than you know. If you got any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I love talking with you guys. I love giving you guys advice on whatever situation you're going through. So yeah, the comments are always open. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because on this channel we are continuing to evolve. And so if you want to join the journey, hit that subscribe button. And if you're wondering, this hoodie's from my brand, out now, link in bio. It has an extra large hood for people with a lot of hair like me. I'm wearing a bun right now and it's still able to go over my head. So if you need one of those, come support your girl and go cop a cute hoodie for yourself. It says Eternal at the front. If you know, you know. It also has some writing at the back, but if you really want to check it out, it'll be linked in the bio below. Ooh, my hair. And I'll see you in the next video. You better be there. Okay? Be there, or be square, or be triangle, or be circle. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope that you have a great rest of your day or night. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. You better be there. But yeah, peace and love, y'all.